have to start listening to the voice. And trust and believe when I say we, I'm putting heavy emphasis on myself, man. Like, we have to start listening to the voice. And when I say the voice, I'm talking about that energy, that guidance that we ask for. You know, we go through all these steps and we finally get this guidance. And when that voice comes, it's like a lot of times we neglect it, right? Now, of course, there are several other problems that we face. There are several other barriers in our way. You know, we talk about how we need to control our thoughts. Of course, man. Of course, I'm gonna tell you this. I don't care what you believe, man. You can't listen to trap music all day. You can't watch certain pieces of information all day and not think it's gonna hinder the way your life plays out. You know what I'm saying? You can't listen to Pocket Full of Stones for y'all old school UGK fans, man. You can't listen to the Baby and all this stuff and talk about, you know, listen to music talking about taking this from people and shooting people up and all this stuff. Even in a form of entertainment, you can't entertain that all day and not think it's not gonna play out in your life in some way, shape, form, or fashion. You have to understand that, man. So thoughts are a huge barrier to us. A lot of people can't get past the point of saying, you know what, I need to get a better control of my thoughts. Like, yeah, it's cool to do certain things, but you know, I need to, you know, sometimes I gotta cut this off and sit in silence. Sometimes I gotta mix it up and listen to a different genre to get a different energy going on. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I gotta listen to a little chill hop just to vibe out and find that balance, man. So yeah, one of the barriers are thoughts. You know, some of the barriers are people, which we don't have to talk about this. We talk about it all the time, and you can't continue to hang with the people from your past if they aren't moving like you. You know what I'm saying? You can't continue hanging out at the same places, in the same clubs, in the same circles if it's hindering you moving forward, right? So those are two barriers. But I'm telling you, man, a lot of times we're doing the right thing. We know how to create our future. But the problem is, man, we don't know how to follow instructions. We go through all the steps, man, and when the instructions come on how we should move, it's like it's so far-fetched away from how we've been moving. It's like, brother, we resist it. We say, nah, man, this can't be the way. Like this don't even sound right. This can't be the way I'm supposed to move, man. Jeremiah 33:3 says this, brother. It says, call to me and I will answer you and will tell you great and hidden things that you have not known. I'm going to say it again, brother. Call to me and I will answer you and will tell you great and hidden things that you have not known. I'm going to tell you this, brothers. A lot of people have been trying to get the bag up. A lot of people have been saying, you know what, man? Okay, I've been at this plant for 15 years, man. And now I'm understanding like the end of the road is not the desired outcome that I want. Like I want more in life. I want to be able to provide more for my wife and my kids. I want to be able to drive different cars and live in certain neighborhoods and see different places on the globe. And I understand that if I sit here, you know, at this plant for the next 15, 20 years, I'm not going to see that. So people say, you know, okay, let me go within and create my own world. You know, let me go in and control my thoughts. Let me change my circle of friends, right? And when you do that, man, you'll start getting downloads. You start getting these downloads. But what people do is say, man, you know what? Like that's too far from what I've been known. Like that's so far against the grain. And what you don't understand, man, that source that we all, you know, send that energy to, send our thoughts to is saying, you know what? I'm going to tell you how to move. Like it's probably going to sound crazy to you. Like you probably don't know anybody in the hood that's doing this. You probably aren't following anybody on social media. You probably aren't watching any YouTube channels that are doing what I'm telling you to do. But for what you're asking me, this is your way out. And I'm telling you, man, most people will say, you know what, man, it's too far against the grain. Like I want to get to my, you know, my Lamborghini vision, you know, but it's too far against the grain, man. Like, what are people going to say if I start doing this out of the blue? You know, I remember back when Nipsey Hussle sold, I think it was a Crenshaw album, mixtape, right? And Nipsey Hussle said, you know what? I got this mixtape I'm finna put out, and I'm selling 1,000 copies, right? And I'm selling them all for $100. A mixtape for $100, man. That's insane even in 2022. Nip did this a number of years ago, right? And I can remember the Vlad interview, they were talking about it. And Vlad said this. Vlad said, you know what? I can remember when you did that. Vlad said, I happened to be in LA that day, and I can remember listening to the radio. He said, and the guys on the radio station were making fun of you, saying, you know, what is he thinking about trying to sell a mixtape for $100? They said, man, everybody in Cali was saying Nip has lost his mind, man. Nipsey messed around and sold 1,000 copies the very first day he put it out, man. The very first day he put it out. There had to be some voice in his mind saying, okay, Nip, you trying to get here? Okay, well, this is how you should move. I'm sure for a split second, Nip said, oh, snap, man. People are selling mixtapes for $9.99. People are, even the top dogs are selling mixtapes, man, for $17 tops. I mean, full EPs, full albums. You want me to sell a mixtape for $100? But he did it. He moved in that energy, man. He followed those instructions. And I'm telling you, brothers, when you're trying to get the bag up and when you're trying to do anything, man, those instructions will come. You know what I'm saying? So when I say we need to listen to the voice, again, I'm talking to myself. There's been times in life, man, where it's like, you know what, I'm trying to get to this, man, and I'll have these thoughts and I'll run from them. Like surely that's just something that just went through my mind. Like surely those aren't instructions. Surely those aren't the downloads I'm going to receive. I've had dreams, man, where I'm like, you know what, man, like that was a wild dream. Like that was crazy. But even the Bible says, you know what? I speak to my brother. I speak to men in dreams. Like in night when he's slumbering, I'm pouring instructions down his mind, man. I'm telling you, brothers, we have to start learning to listen to the voice, man. The voice is guiding us. But it's this outside noise, man, that's keeping us from moving in the right energy, brother. Isaiah 30:21 says this. It says, and your ears shall hear a word behind you saying, this is the way. Walk in it. But the source is telling us what our prayer should be. I always say that, prayer is what you walk in. Prayer is not the resuscitation or regurgitation of words. Prayer is your walk. This says, and your ears shall hear a word behind you saying, this is the way. Walk in it. Brother, we're getting instructions on how to move, man. We're getting instructions on how to carry ourselves. We're getting instructions on how we should navigate through this world, man, to get the outcome that we want. But the thing is, the thing that's keeping us from walking in that new I am, it's actually us killing the old self. There is no other reason. There is no other reason a man can't walk in his new energy unless his old life is holding him back. And a lot of times it's not the thoughts. A lot of times it's not the people you in. A lot of times it's just your old behaviors. You know what I'm saying? If you used to going to the juke joint Monday through Friday after work to sip on some Hennessy and some old fashions until you pass out, that's just you. If that new energy is saying, no, brother, walk in this energy. Go eat you some healthy food. Go hit the gym. Read a few books, man. Like walk in this new energy and this outcome you want, like you'll get that, man. A lot of times it's just us. We fail to commit that egotistical suicide, if you will, man. A lot of times it's just us. A lot of times it's easy to point the finger at other people or outside sources or the woman in your life or whatever, man. But a lot of times it's you and your own vices. I've said this before, man. I don't know why I said this. When you talk about it, matter of fact, I just said it the other day on Secrets of the Soul, man. If you haven't checked Secrets of the Soul out, check that out, man. But what I was saying when people are looking to this, new version of themselves, this higher version of themselves, and that's going to be, their new fulfillment. when they aren't moving in that energy, when they aren't walking in that I am, like there's a lack of God energy in that sacred space of theirs, man. So they have to fill it with something. They have to put something in that space. So what do, man? They turn to the bottle. They turn to the hub. You know what I'm saying? They turn to over-sexualization of women. They turn to the heroin. They turn to the crack. Addictions are simply people trying to fulfill that void of not being in communion, in connection with that source and moving in the right way. That's all addictions are, man. That's all addictions are. And just like in Secret of the Soul, man, I said the man that's on the side of the road that's strung out on heroin is no different than the sister that's taking pictures all day for selfies, one male attention. They're both seeking the exact same thing. So when we're talking about moving that new energy, when it says to walk in that new I am, walk in that new energy, a lot of people just can't kill that old self, brothers. A lot of people can't kill that old self. You know what I'm saying? And that's not the easiest thing to do. Think about, we talk about hypnotic rhythm all the time. If you've been doing a certain thing, if you wake up every single morning, if you get up every single weekend, and you go through the exact same process, down to putting your pants on the same way, the same shirt, brushing your teeth at the same time, and going through certain steps, making certain phone calls, talking to certain women, it's going to be very hard to break that. It's going to be hard to break that. That's not the easiest thing to do, man. But whatever you have to do it, I don't care if you have to go monk mode. I don't care if you have to kill social media or cut your ringer off or do whatever. If you have to move to another city, whatever you have to do, man, to terminate that old self, brother, that's you have to do it, man. So when that voice gives you those instructions, brother, you have to walk in that new energy, brother. You have to walk in it. Hebrews 2:1 says, therefore we must pay closer attention to what we have heard, lest we drift away from it. Therefore, we must pay closer attention to what we've heard, lest we drift away from it. Out when the devil talks about drifting all the time, man. And in there, it has a list of things that people do that are drifters. It said, this is how you know the man that drifts. The man that's, he's very indecisive. The man that can't do this. The man that can't, do all, a whole list of things on the tendency of a drifter. But now we got to add another one, man. A man that can't follow instructions. The man that asks for a thing, receives a thing, and can't walk in that new energy. A man that can't hear that voice is also a drifter. That's a sign and symptom of a drifter, man. Therefore, we must pay close attention to what we have heard, lest we drift away from it. In other words, it's saying either you're in or you're not. It's like, I'm going to give you the download, but there's no straddling the fence after that. Like, you can straddle the fence before I give you that. You know what I'm saying? Like you can be in a state of desiring a thing, want to be in a certain energy in your old self, because you're like, I'm still trying to, I'm trying to act as if at this point. But once you get that information, man, once you hear that voice, there's no more straddling the fence, man. There's no more hokey pokey. It's like either you walk in it or you're not. And what Hebrews said is, if you're not, you're now a drifter. Like, don't even look forward to getting these blessings that you've been asking for because you aren't walking in that I am. You don't listen. I'm saying this, brothers, and all I'm saying is this: we have to put ourselves in a mental position to not only be able to hear the voice, but then be able to have the courage, to have the gonads to step in it. Because 9 times out of 10, it's going to be so far against what you've done that it's going to cause a man to hesitate for a second. But we got to hesitate for that second, man, and get back on track and walk in it. I was thinking about like there have been times where I'm sure of it, right? That there have been so many times that I heard the voice and neglected it. I can think of a few. But I can think of a few times, man, where I heard this voice and it was so strong and I had to take that leap of faith and act in it. I can remember when I joined the military, man. I can remember going to the MIPS, talking to the recruiters for a few days, and I think I missed a few days of work. I was still in this probationary period. And my boss said, hey, you know what? If you miss another day, then you out the door. And I can remember the same time the brothers at the MIPS was like, hey, you know what? You got one more step to get into the military. You got to come back tomorrow and do this. And I was like, man, I can't lose my job. Like I can't risk that. I can remember getting up early in the morning, driving to work. It was still dark, man. And I can remember that voice came to me and said, you know what? I was probably, 19 years old, 20 years old? That voice came to me and said, nope, like if you want, like if you've been complaining about being in this small town for the last 5 years. You've been complaining that there's no opportunity here and that you're tired of, the same circle of friends. Like you've been asking me for this. You've been praying for this, right? And now I'm telling you how to move, and now you're still driving to work when the answer has been given to you. And brother, I felt that voice. I felt that voice, man. I turned around, I went home, I got back in the bed. When the sun came up, I got up, went to the MEPS, and joined the military. Risking losing my job. You know what I'm saying? I knew that once I made a decision, there was no reason going back to that job. It was gone, man. But I had to trust that voice. I had to trust that voice. Even when I talk about when I was living downtown, bro, and when I moved out here, I can remember that voice was like, you know what? Like, there's too much going on here for me to really talk to you, to speak to you. Like, get your ass out there in the suburbs. Get you out there in the country, man, so it can be quiet, so you can hear me. I heard that voice, man. That voice said, get rid of all this stuff. Like kill that old world. All that stuff that was associated with you, all those things that you use to identify yourself, get rid of those things and move yonder ways. It sounded so crazy to me, man. And I trust me, I had to soak on it for probably a week or so. Saying, man, life is good. Like life is good, man. Why would I want to up and just move to the middle of nowhere? But that voice got so heavy in me, man, and I had to move in that energy, brother. And if I wouldn't have, I don't know what life would be like now. I really don't know how miserable life would have been if I wouldn't have heard that voice, man. So all I'm saying is this, brother. We have to get into the practice of fully and completely plugging into that voice. Like I don't want that voice to just be something that hits me every once in a while when I'm in need of some kind of change. I want to have that voice, like Bluetooth in. I want to have it where it's all 24 hours a day. I can hear it and walk in it. I want to hear it nonstop and just be a part of it, man. So all I'm saying, brothers, is we have to listen to that voice, man. We have to listen to that voice. I can remember when I was in this toxic relationship, man. And my prayer was, all I wanted was a 5% woman. All I wanted was a woman that could give me balance and bring joy into my life, brothers. And that voice was telling me how I should move. But the thing is, that voice was telling me that, hey, you know what? You can't get what you want because you can't get rid of the woman that's in your life. And brother, I struggled with that for years, man, straddling the fence because I was unable to cut my old world loose. But once I did, everything changed.